There were two interesting or good questions that were talked about. The first one I'm going to address, and it was after Monday's A5, was Jewett's point about how he's not always able to make sure Axie's in here. Let me say. Let me get Axie in here and then I'll. All right, so real quick, the first point that was brought up after A5 was by Jewett, and it was a good point. I want to address it. So Jewett said, I instructed the DMs, especially the shotgun DMs, to try and get 2 nades here as they push down. So he was saying, I'm not always able to do that. Well, that's fine because the offense knows what we want to do, and even if I hadn't told them, they would still figure out pretty quickly that we're tossing nades and looking to try and win or do as much as we can in the middle area. So they're going to invest, which is what I deliberately had them do on Monday night in rep charges to get y'all back to rep through and not take anything. But from a defensive perspective, that's still a win. If we have 3 imps or 2 imps using rep charges are very important also in the bottom box area. So if they've used all their rep charges and an energizer to win the middle box area, that's fine. Like I've said like 30 times already, infantry's dynamic, chaotic. You're playing against humans, not bots. They know what you're going to try and do. You just have to adjust. But ideally, as we're passing through this first little area and they're getting hit with EB, I still want y'all to look through this as you retreat. There was a lot of stuff where you're just kind of pausing right here and looking to get like a forward angle here. I would still rather you retreat and on the retreat down get something like that. So that way you're really not losing or risking positional like advantage because you're just forward facing a lot. Not you specifically, Jewett. A lot of people were kind of doing this, and that's why they were just getting repped out and not able to throw anything because you're just forward facing. So when you get repped here, you no longer have an angle to throw that nade there. But as you tell they're turning that corner, if you get a nade at this angle right there, I don't have any more nades. But if you have an angle to sneak it in here, a rep charge can just knock that directly back into them. So you're just trying to create a bunch of noise and nonsense with grenades coming through here, even through their reps, right? Like it's not. And ultimately, if you just get one off and you don't want to risk dying, that's fine. I don't want you to be stubborn and say, "Silly told me to do this. I have to do this." No, adjust to what's happening first and foremost, and maintain your position. Um, again, offenses know what's going on here, and even if I hadn't told them, they would have eventually adjusted because we're emphasizing that middle room, at least trying to get damage in it. I will make one quick point about the SGF that's usually going to be dunker spot. That's usually going to be dunker spot if SGF. If you're right here and we're draining and we get a good read that like they turned that corner, and it happens to good offenses, it happens to all kinds of offenses, even decent offenses, where they just don't rep, they don't time their reps well, and they take a lot of EB hits and shotgun right there. I don't mind you stopping right here to see if you can just get a quick little RG hit here on them before you get here and then toss your nade at like this angle here. Like I don't mind any of that because that's fine. It's risky if they're going to try and rep charge trap you, so be very careful with where you decide to do that. But I would like to see a little bit more of that as well, a little more confidence. Because if you have a rep charge up as a DM and I stop and frag them or like RG them here right as they turn that corner and they rep charge trap you, you should be able to just rep charge trap, rep charge yourself right back out. We got to be a little bit more confident in our ability to get out of tough situations if we have the resources to do so. If you just have like no energizers and no rep charge, don't do that. Hopefully you won't find yourself in that position. But if that's the case, then we ought to be able to start trusting that we know how to use resources to get out of that. If we have a rep charge and one energizer, plus we should have a medic or an engineer capable of repping for us. I just would like to see the middle attempted a little more damage in the middle. Outside of that, I don't have any critiques other than I will say I do want to stress again, there was a good discussion about this. I don't want to just be playing in this area. You can almost draw a line from the bottom here to up here where I really don't want to be playing unless you're just like just here for a minute and like tossing a nade over in that way. And then as soon as they pass that threshold, I want us to work back towards the boxes cawing. Try to never go towards the left side with caw as best as you can. If it does, you get repped over there. Shit happens, whatever. Get back under the boxes and get back to the right as best you can.